hopefully it is. I'm Baymax. Welcome back to another Style Esports stream. I'll be casting it tonight, this beautiful playoff game, with my beautiful friend, Axeman himself. So thank you, Axeman, for joining me on this cast tonight. How are you doing?
Baymax, I'm doing just fine. And, the cast we had last night, I don't know if anybody is here that watched that one, was just monumental. I mean, it was so much fun. TDMA versus... the Syndicate, and it was just such a good series that I feel like the rest of the finals kind of have big shoes to fill. That said, this is a pretty good matchup. We got TDM, not the Academy team, versus Bay Team, two of the better teams in Style Esports League. So, I've really been looking forward to this one. I think we're going to have a good series.
It's always going to be a good series when you got these teams involved, but TDM especially, right? They're the team to watch. They are the second seed coming into this playoff game. Bay Team, no slouches either in their own right. They're sitting at fourth seed right now, but they have dropped significantly more games as a whole, as opposed to TDM. I think it's like double-digit games dropped for Bay Team versus 3 in total for TDM, and 2 of those to TDMA, their sister squad, right? The Academy TDM team. So TDM as a whole, as an organization, looking very, very strong. TDM second seed only to TDMA. So Bay Team is definitely going to be looking to put a feather in their cap by taking this one out. Last time we saw these teams face off against each other, it was a 2-0 in favor of TDM. So Bay Team, they got something to prove moving into this game, right? They got something they want to get off their chest, right? So moving into this draft, it was pro drafted, so some picks bans are going to start flying through here from these teams. A lot of the meta stuff taken away, although noticeably, I'm seeing something right now, Axeman. Ornn so far still open, might get banned away last ban by TDM, but no, Ornn left through draft. I hope we see it. I don't think we've seen a lot of priority on Ornn in Style Esports, but I legitimately think the pick is so strong right now.
Yeah, especially in competitive, some people might be listening and thinking, Ornn's kind of fallen by the wayside. That's more like a solo queue thing. If you watch pro, Ornn's still like very much hotly contested up in the top lane. He provides so much value to the team as a whole that when you really play around those items and play around that late game value, it's just such a strong pick. Still, even now, when champions like Maokai kind of threaten his kind of best of the tank role kind of position, Ornn is still very strong in competitive 5. So, I'm like you. I definitely think Ornn is pick ban, and see him get through the first phase, what I think is a little less surprising than maybe it was a couple of patches ago, is still kind of nuts to me. I mean, he's such a good top laner. But that said, we do have some very good top laners here, some highly contested ones. We got the Darius and the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser for me kind of sticks out, especially for Triblade. I know Triblade has a lot of games on Mordekaiser in the Style Esports League, so one of the Mordekaiser players that we like to celebrate here is pretty good at the champion. But One Finger Smash, kind of going back to the Darius champion they're familiar with as well. It should be a shootout out here in the top lane.
Yeah, I would definitely expect that lane to go in favor of Darius, but also a lane that certainly can be volatile, right? 2 high damage bruisers. Darius might normally have the edge given their kits, but if either one of them does get a lead early on, if Triblade does find a kill onto One Finger Smash, you can definitely expect that either one of them is going to have a hard time coming back from that. But let's sort of back up to see the whole team comps in their in their full glory right now. TDM on red side, Bay Team on blue side. There's something instantly coming into focus for me, and that is the Zac support coming through for Mega Bro. I see why he's doing it, right? You got the Yasuo mid lane, Rek'Sai jungle, Zac support, knock up synergy across the map for the Yasuo in the mid lane. So it looks like TDM putting a lot of eggs in the Yasuo basket here, trying to get Scurrility off to a great start in this series, trying to get a lot of kills on this Yasuo. And he's against the Karma mid, so a fairly exploitable, abusable mid laner that he can sort of look to bully, especially with ganks from Demonic Xmas. But, not offering a lot of damage, not offering a lot of pressure in lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of puts the onus on Hawkeye, on the Varus, to kind of play both safe and just kind of more proactive a little bit to make sure that he's just not completely zoned out of this lane when you have Mega Bro and Zac either roaming or just not being an optimal support. But to be honest, we've seen some pretty solid Varus games from Hawkeye, so I think he could probably handle this. I don't think this is obviously the most meta comp, but I do like it. It's got some charm to it.
I'm a big fan of the lethality virus too, right? You
Yeah.
hit on it just then. I mean, it doesn't have to be lethality virus. In fact, on hit Blade of the Rune King virus could definitely be good here, right? There's a lot of sort of medium range champions on Bay team, especially with the Sejuani and the Darius picks coming through that are sort of very kiteable. So on hit virus is not looking terrible here, but I feel like lethality virus just does so much damage in lane, and you already have the Yasuo mid lane to deal that consistent DPS to some of those late game carries or the late game tanks. Mordekaiser as well. I think TDM have enough tank shit. I think they go lethality, but I don't know. I like lethality virus. I think it's too good.
Well, I like lethality Varus because it makes use of all that range that he has, right? I was just saying that Mega Bro and the Zac might want to get some roams in because that's something about Zac that's very strong is that he can gank from weird angles and get really good surprise gank. So if Mega Bro decides he wants to go mid or something like that, lethality Varus can just sit back behind turret and is still effective with their effective range. So I think lethality might be a good idea here, but yeah, I like this comp. I mean, there's a lot of variations. It's just kind of we have a Yasuo, let's all have knockups comp. I think this one is probably the least memey of those comps. Normally
least memey. It's a
Yeah.
Zac support. There's no Gragas. Gragas was open.
Bad.
Gragas was open. It could have been a Gragas support. I think Gragas support would have been pretty good, but
I think the Gragas support or Gragas jungle might have been pretty good, but I think normally we would have seen Galio support here over Zac.
Actually, I think Gragas support could have been or Gragas jungle, so good.
Yeah, definitely. But this is probably one of the better ones. I mean, Rex has a meta jungler, so we're doing okay with this comp. But really for me, Bay team, love that comp. It's great. I always talk about how good Sejuani is. Darius, a very, very strong top laner. The only thing about this comp that's really unproven to me is the Karma mid. And I don't hate Karma mid. I don't have anything against it. So I think this is probably a pretty strong comp.
My concern for Bay team is I feel like they might not have enough damage moving into the mid and late game if some of their carries get behind early, right? Like Ashe doesn't do that much damage. She's a lot of setup, doesn't do that much damage. Karma has like okay burst damage, but not a lot of consistent DPS, and her burst damage does fall off as the game goes on. And then Darius, again, he's sort of like a bruiser that like if he's fed, he can do a lot of damage, but for the most part, he's not to be relied on as a carry in fights. So in my mind, it's sort of like Bay team, they have a lot of engage, but is the damage going to be there to follow up that engage? I think when you look at TDM's comp, they have all these tanky champions. Mordekaiser is pretty tanky. Zac is really tanky. Yasuo can get pretty tanky in his own right. He's got that shield sort of making him sort of a pseudo bruiser. Like obviously he's not a tank, but he gets pretty hard to kill as far as like melee DPS champions go. There's, it can be pretty hard to lock him down and kill him. There is pretty crowd control from Bay team to do that with, but a lot of it is blockable by the wind wall as well, right? The Ashe arrow, blockable by the wind wall. Sejuani's glacial prison, boom, wind wall, gone. Thresh, death sentence, boom, wind wall, gone. So Scurrility, I think, if he plays this pick well, there's a lot of potential from TDM's lineup here.
And that really is the whole comp, right? If the Yasuo plays well, this is going to be really good. And if Bay team, what they have to do this game is take the incredible amount of utility they have in their comp and just convert it into advantages. And it's very hard to quantify things like utility, right? I mean, it's champions like, something like Vayne, or it's just kind of like, yeah, Vayne's going to be great late game, or Nass is going to be great late game, or Pantheon's just got great numbers early game. Well, utility's a little bit harder to quantify, right? I mean, you mentioned Ashe doesn't do a lot of damage. That's true, but if they can convert the utility in Ashe's kit into advantages, she's going to be doing more damage because she'll just be ahead. And it is kind of concerning that there isn't, like you were saying, just kind of a straight damage champion that's just going to be super reliable and just have lots of damage no matter what. That is really concerning because it is kind of like, if any like two out of the three lanes, kind of fall apart, they're gonna have a really hard time, right? because that utility suddenly isn't going to be doing very much for them. But there is a lot here that they can turn into some pretty good advantages, and we're seeing a little bit of an invade here.
We are seeing a bit of an invade. Ooh, Hawkeye hooked up there.
Oh, well. And there goes Hawkeye. All right.
That's first blood for Blizzard, so if you're worried about your Ashe having damage,
Yeah.
being able to recall and start off with an extra longsword is a good start to that. Although it looks like Blizzard not actually going to take advantage of that recall. I think he did have time, but you know what? That's fine. Can always wait for the first back to really take advantage of that. Although TDM didn't end up blowing any summoner spells there, so they will maybe be able to turn it back for a kill while Indy's Ignite is down, but that's sort of a small window, right? It's always worth trading Ignite for a kill.
Yeah, for sure. And it was kind of a weird start there for TDM. I mean, normally we see teams go for the solid invade, they're all stacked on top of each other, or just go for like a 5-point, something like that. TDM just kind of like floated out of the base in different arrangements or whatever. And yeah, Hawkeye just caught out and immediately blown up, but not how you wanted to start the lane, like you mentioned. And they're gonna start out behind. And it seems obvious, but this little advantage that Bay Team have already created for themselves is going to be hugely impactful moving forward.
For sure. It's definitely going to be impactful moving forward. It's always good, right? Especially if you're the team, like we mentioned, they struggle with some damage, but getting their early game damage starts ahead early, or getting their late game scaling threats like the Ashe to their item spikes early can be hugely helpful. Especially, we talked about it, against this TDM lane, a bot lane, right? Zac support doesn't offer that much in laning phase. So if you can get Bay Team's lane ahead early, if you can get Blizzard and Inti ahead, then TDM could bleed a lot through losing that bot lane pressure. They could lose out on early dragons. They could have Demonic Xmas getting bullied in his bot side jungle. You know, all this stuff can really start to snowball, like you were saying, just because you don't have that early game damage necessarily innately in your kits. Once it starts to snowball, you do have it. Now, speaking of snowballing, top lane, Demonic Xmas unburring over the wall, but it's a double gank as Tree Rover shows up with the Arctic Rush. And now Tri-Blade's knocked up. Demonic Xmas forced to flash away. Stun coming through. Double flashes, triple flashes, a flash forward for one-finger smash. 4 flashes invested. He tries to look for the flash decimate, but it's not quite there. Second blood picked up going over to Demonic Xmas there.
Yeah, second blood, right? It's easy to forget that first blood played there. But yeah, so I think maybe a little bit of a misplay from One Finger Smash. I think on that one you just kind of draw back, but some interesting jungling for sure. Tree Rover going buff to Gromp, picking up level 3, and Demonic Xmas just kind of staying at that top red side, getting the full clear on that half of the jungle. Both junglers arrived, same level and everything, but Demonic Xmas didn't have the blue buff, right? So just had the one buff. Tree Rover had both. I think that got them a little bit of
I think Tri-Blade's in trouble here. You know what? Decimate ended up missing by just a little bit. Keep in mind, double bruiser bot top lane with decent amount of damage early, no flashes. Although mid lane, look at this. Look at Inti and Tree Rover trying to cheese Scurrility here. Scurrility does have flash, but he's going to face check the bush into a death sentence. I don't think his flash is going to get him out of this one. Tree Rover with the Arctic Assault and the Winter's Wrath. That kill is going to go over. It's picked up by Inti. A little bit unfortunate in that one, but you know what? The kill is a kill. Getting a Yasuo behind early on a Yasuo team is definitely worth it.
Yeah, and that's just more power going down to the bot lane, right? It might be a good idea to kind of stack it down that lane. You know, I don't think it would have been a bad thing or anything like that if Hanakon picked up that kill, but there is something to be said for stacking all of your eggs in the bot lane down there. It can be very, very powerful. But yeah, Inti's going to pick up that kill, and yeah, Scurrility is going to be sent back to the Death Realm. Got that first dragon coming up in about 10 seconds. It's going to be a mountain drag. Could be something these teams are looking for. Even now, Demonic Xmas is looking for that deep vision, trying to get a little bit of control over the area. That speed shrine from the Scuttle.
I want to point out
did
quick.
Go down to Bay Team earlier, though.
Yeah, looking at this dragon, right? Teleport advantage is in favor of One Finger Smash. And on top of that, Bay Team, they also have the recall coming through from Blizzard. He picked up a Vampiric Scepter, which means he's going to be able to weather a lot of that poke coming through from Hawkeye. with some of that life still coming through. So Bay Team actually in a pretty good situation right now to contest Dragon if they want to. To your point, you mentioned the Dragon spawning. Teleport advantage on one figure smash. Blizzard and Inti very strong bot lane. So we might see a Bay Team play here.
Yeah, for sure in the mid lane, Hanakun.
Yeah, Demonic Xmas looking for the gank. Hanakun does flash away. But flash to follow from Scurrility. He's looking for more. Tree Rover does have the Arctic Assault to Scurrility's face. Gonna use that Winter's Wrath to get him stunned up. And now Tree Rover gets a turn on him as Triblade roams down to try to secure a kill for himself onto Hanakun. And ends up being picked up by Scurrility. A double kill for TDM.
Yeah, and Mega Bro got all the way up there at the tail end of that, too. I don't think he picked up an assist or anything like that, but he was in the area, so he'll help Scurrility shove out the lane and then I guess just head back to the bot lane. That is kind of a rough gank situation there, but his ADC is getting solo experience. So, yeah, even just leaving the lane for a while can be beneficial in and of itself.
Yeah, a little bit of misplay there by Hanakun, right? Could have made it to safety probably if she had ended up using that flash to get back to her turret, but instead flashing towards the river, trying to get the tree over and not realizing that it was going to be a 3 versus 2. And so ends up losing out on that one regardless. And now TDM in a very strong spot, right? We talked about Yasuo being the key carry. And as I'm talking about that, Triblade says, I want to be the key carry. He takes one figure smash into the death realm, and look who is waiting for him as soon as he comes out. Triblade might not have that kill, but Hanakun says, yoink, I'll be more than happy to pick up that one. Psych! Triblade getting that one for himself. But 1 versus 2 as a gank comes through for TDM in the top lane.
Yeah, and a very successful gank as well. The Rek'Sai, very strong ganks early, but
I don't know if the spectator client saw that Zach Q, the arm sort of bug out, the recall. That was pretty funny.
I didn't see that, but it might have been picked up on the stream.
Yeah, when Inti, Mega Bro used his Q to grab onto Inti as Inti was recalling, and the animation sort of spazzed out, and the Zach's arm just sort of like stretched all the way to the spawn of Bay Team.
It's got the long arms. There we go. And, Mega Bro actually mid lane could be picking up Hanakun.
3-peat gank, and there's the ultimate coming out of Scurrility, the last breath into the Ignite. Hanakun, though, getting to safety, and now Inti has arrived. He procced the Aftershock. He's pretty tanky. Ignite coming out on Scurrility. Can't dodge the death sentence. Arctic Assault straight to Scurrility's face. Shutdown kill for Tree Rover.
Yeah, so I think despite having the Thresh and despite, I think conventional wisdom saying that Zach might have better ganks, I have to give it up to Inti. These Thresh ganks have been something else, right? I mean, Mega Bro.
Mega Bro's actually looking for this fight. They don't have a numbers advantage, right? Demonic Xmas is here, but Tree Rover, Inti, and Hanakun all still sticking around. I don't think they want this fight. Look behind also the flank from Blizzard running up to the river. Mega Bro's in trouble. The glacial or the crystal arrow is going to come out, not quite connect to the target. Mega Bro using the blast plant to get himself to safety. I thought for sure someone was going to die there, but Mega Bro fancy feet getting him out alive.
Yeah, for sure. The re-engage and then the great escape. So an interesting one there. But yeah, I don't think he saw Blizzard coming all the way up from bot lane. I know I wouldn't have expected that for sure. But that first dragon, Baymax, is still up. No one's taken it yet. It's pretty weird for Season 10, right? Normally,
you know who's not about to be up? Hawkeye, or at least his Flash, gets burned bot lane after another nice death sentence from Inti. Mid lane, though, a lot of turret plates going over to Scurrility, and Herald's pressure is going over to TDM.
Yes, indeed, it is. No ultimate abilities for the bot lane of Bay Team. Inti Script did use the box to try and catch Hawkeye there, but was able to flash. And another death sentence.
They don't stop. Bug Award Death Sentence River actually pretty low. Ignite is going to come out from Scurrility, but it's not going to be enough to net him that kill. Aftershock making Tree Rover so tanky.
Yeah, for sure. And Scurrility going down again. Kind of an interesting situation. He kind of goes back and forth between seeming to be in control of the lane and then just kind of losing it into 3v1 with Inti Script and Tree Rover showing up to kind of ruin his day. But both bot lanes seemingly content to just kind of leave their ADC in the lane just kind of cooking, right? Getting that solo lane experience. But yeah, TDM is going to pick up that first dragon at just under 10 minutes. So kind of a late first dragon, but neither team really too interested in the epic monsters, Baymax.
Well, you know what? TDM did manage to pick up that dragon off of a kill deficit, right? Or off of a player deficit, right? Because Scurrility actually was killed, but it didn't matter. because Tree Over was low, Hanakun was low. They backed off, and TDM did pick up First Dragon and Triblade as well on the winning side of a 1v1 in the top lane. One Finger Smash coming so close to picking up that kill, but did not quite have enough mana to actually use his guillotine. So didn't find the kill. Triblade taking him to the death realm. A Leandri's picked up now for Triblade. So the top half of the map for TDM looking really, really strong.
Yeah, for sure. And they're looking pretty good. And I don't really think I would have expected Mordekaiser to beat Darius in that matchup. But I know Triblade's really strong on Mordekaiser. So that does make sense to me, at least in that respect. But yeah, One Finger Smash got their work cut out for them. They want to get back into this game. Might be looking to board up that Rift Herald, and no, they won't. But yeah, I definitely looking for TDM to look for this Rift Herald at some point. They just have so much, such a large advantage up in the top half of the map that I feel like they could really pick it up very easily. And they still have the plates up, right? We're just over 11 minutes now. Plates go down at 14, so they could pick up that Rift Herald and get a whole lot of money for themselves. They might even be able to get the entirety of the mid lane turret if they get it soon.
Yeah, and worth noting for Bay Team, right? They have not taken a single turret off of TDM yet. All of TDM's turret plating still up, still for the taking, and that's sort of symbolic of the lack of pressure that Bay Team have right now. Mid lane pressure in favor of TDM. Yeah, we're looking for a fight, and the bot lane Tree Over with the Glacial Prison. They're looking for more. Blobs are popped from Mega Bro. He's gonna get picked up by Blizzard, as I was too distracted talking about lane pressure to even realize a fight was happening.
Yeah, and I don't blame you, Baymax. It was over very quickly. And down there diving Hawkeye here. Box comes out, and wow, it happens so fast. But yeah, Hawkeye goes back to the fountain. I know I saw Anti-Script use the box there, but other than that, it looked like Hawkeye just kind of disappeared. But yeah, to get Mega Bro, Blizzard and Tree Rover both expending ultimates. Kind of weird to pick up the kill on a support with two big ultimates like that, but they also pick up the kill on Hawkeye. They're getting all this turret playing, so I think it's probably worth it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, right? We talked about what TDM can get done with this Herald. They can maybe look to break open turret First Blood, which would probably make everything worth it. But overall, getting some kills on Blizzard, always a very, very good thing, as the first turret does end up falling, or the first Herald does end up falling, picked up by Demonic Xmas. Now looking to get aggressive as well. He knows he's got the pressure in the top side of the map. Gonna take away Tree Rover's blue buff, maybe some other camps as well, as Mega Bro might be looking for some shenanigans in mid lane.
Yeah, looking for some shenanigans mid lane is the name of the game if you're a Zac support, right? You got to be looking to harass that enemy mid laner, but Mega Bro just hasn't been having a really good time of it. Hanakun only has one death, and I'm not really sure if they're really reaping the rewards that the Zac pick would normally bring, or it could bring, right? It's kind of been an ineffective pick thus far, but in their defense, Hawkeye does have some pretty serious XP advantages under their belt. Now, advantages over whom? I couldn't say. Blizzard is the same level, right? Most of that is down to just Anti-Script leaving lane as much, if not more, than Mega Bro, right? So you essentially had both these ADCs just kind of alone in this lane, but Anti-Script is getting more for their money than Mega Bro is. So the Zac pick not really coming through for TDM the way they thought it might.
The death sentences are true. Tree Over's looking for this fight. Follows Inti with the Arctic Assault. Collapses are coming through, though. Mega Bro comes in with an elastic slingshot as my screen is temporarily frozen. I'm back in it now. Inti flashing for Blizzard on a killing spree. Mega Bro is gonna die. Hanakun picking up that kill. Scurrility on the backline. 1v1ing Tree Rover. Another death sentence on the Triblade brings him away from the death realm for a short period of time. Hanakun just flashing over the wall to buy himself some time. Triblade following with a flash of his own, trying to get himself to safety. At the end of the day, though, a 2-for-0 in favor of Bay Team.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of comedic timing there from Hanukkah, and she did well to get that flash over the wall, but it was pretty funny, the execution of it. But looks like we are going to have a pause come through. Demonic Xmas did DC momentarily. Now, I believe they were dead when they did it, so I'm not sure if it had too big an effect on the game, but seeing as they're standing still in Fountain, you do want to get the pause out. So just want to pick your brain, Baymax. Who do you think is in the lead right now? I mean, Gold is pretty even.
Gold is almost dead even, which is interesting. Of course, First Dragon did go over to TDM, so they are first in line to sort of start threatening a Dragon Soul if they want to. Now, that being said, it was a pretty late First Dragon. Didn't end up going over until about 9 minutes or so. which means Dragon Soul's not going to be threatened for a long time. Second dragon is about to spawn. So there's a pretty good chance we'll see a fight over second dragon. Now, all that being said, right, Bay team have the slight gold edge, 22.5k to 22.2k, and I think they arguably have the team that scales better. I don't think so. I think TDM are in the lead. I think TDM's team comp is better. I think that Bay team are sort of reliant on getting picks, which can't be done, right? Inti has proven that he can land those death sentences and be a super reliable playmaker for his team. Triover has been a strong frontliner as well. But that being said, Triblade has got sort of total dominance right now in the top lane. He's doing extremely well in this Mordekaiser. Gonna be running down to be able to contest this next dragon if he wants to. Teleport advantage to one figure smash, though. It's really close. I guess I'll finish off my ramblings by saying that I think TDM are probably in the lead just because we talked about how their main carry was going to be Scurrility on this Yasuo. That's what their team comp is built around sitting up for. And he's in a really strong spot. He's got 2 kills. He's got the most CS in the game. He's actually got the most gold in the game, or I take it back, second most gold in the game. He is just behind, and I reiterate, just behind Blizzard, but second gold in the game. And he's a Yasuo with a Zac and a Rek'Sai and a Mordekaiser to facilitate him. So that's very, very scary. But that being said, we talked about it, right? Bay team, they got a lot of tools for dealing with it. They got a lot of peel from Inti, from Tree Rover. Scurrility is not going to be doing very much if he's perma crowd controlled by Inti, who does seem to be hitting basically every death sentence. So yeah, we'll see what ends up happening here.
Exactly. And it is super close, right? So I don't know if I necessarily disagree with you. What I will point out, though, is that Bay team, they do have slightly more gold. That's that much is obvious, right? But where the gold is stacked and distributed about their team, I think is a little bit better than the distribution from TDM. Most of the gold for Bay team is on the Ashe and on the Sejuani, and I think that's exactly where it needs to be. Moving forward in the late game, that's what you need. You need gold on your ADC, you need gold on your big tank, right? Everyone else is just kind of like buying utility items, stuff like that. Obviously, Anti's probably going to buy some support items. At this point, I would kind of expect the same from Hanakun. Maybe get a couple AP items and then just kind of switch more to a support role as well. Obviously, I think they would have liked to have more success from One Finger Smash, but at this point, it's just not going to happen. So that one's just kind of lost. But I think they do have the advantage in so much as Blizzard just has so much gold, right? And same thing with Tree Rover, that when they want to fight around epic monsters, their jungler is massive, and then their marksman is massive too. So I think they're probably going to have a little bit of advantage. But we were mentioning this before the game started. It all comes down to execution and how they use their utility. Ashe doesn't have the most damage in the game. In fact, she's probably not in the conversation for most damage. She's probably one of the lowest damage marksmen in the game. But she still does tons of damage. She still has that potential. And with this much gold, this much an advantage, I think she can has just enough to be effective in that carry role.
Of course. An Ashe that is ahead can do a lot of damage. I want to talk specifically about the next few minutes here, or really the next minute. I think as soon as this game unpauses, we are likely to see a significant game-changing play from one side or the other. The next dragon is spawning in about 10 seconds, and it's an Infernal Dragon. And TDM is in a position where they would probably want to threaten that dragon. But Bay team, right, they have teleport advantage in the top lane. They, like you mentioned, have the stronger AD carry, the stronger bot lane, more pressure from Blizzard, from Inti, as this game gets started back up. So it's definitely possible we'll see a team fight break out over this dragon, and if it does, I think it's definitely going to favor Bay team, because like we said, they do have teleport advantage in One Figure Smash. Even though he's behind, he'll still be an extra member to have in that pit. But for now, TDM, they also have total control over the area. They got very strong vision control in the area, so Bay team are going to have to spend a little bit more time setting up a dragon play if they're going to want to go for it.
Yeah, for sure. And critically as well, they're also just not in the area, and most of TDM is now. In fact, 4 of them are right next to the pit, and Bay team are just kind of on the back foot here. Now, that doesn't mean they couldn't necessarily still make a play for the dragon, and actually, as I say that, TDM are all moving away from it. but they might still see them make a play. They are going to drop that Rift Herald in the mid lane, so maybe a bit of a split play here. Most of the team going for the dragon, a couple of them making sure the Rift Herald gets the charge off.
That's first turret. First turret picked up now for TDM as they are setting up for this dragon, right? We talked about the tools TDM had to get in this pit, and Herald is one of them. So Demonic Xmas smiting that dragon away picks it up for TDM. That's their second dragon. So if TDM won it, they are well on their way to contesting an Ocean Soul.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are going to have an ocean map this game. All the dragons from now on are going to be ocean as well. This could definitely play out for both teams. Obviously, the Ocean Soul is incredibly powerful, but with Bay Team, I think a little bit more on the back foot as we go later into the game. I think that Ocean Soul is going to be a lot more needed for them. But obviously they don't have any dragons yet, so it's going to be a very long time if they're going to pick up that Ocean Soul. TDM have a huge advantage when it comes to that, but there's still other objectives on the map. They're looking for towers right now.
One of those objectives is the bot lane tower, but Demonic Xmas is going to pick a fight over it. Tree Rover getting knocked up from the unburrow under the wall, running for his life, invested the Glacial Prison, and it's not enough. Shut down over to Hawkeye. A lot of gold in his pocket.
Yeah, not where you want the shutdown gold to go to, right? So unlucky there from Bay Team, but yeah, Hawkeye able to pick up a whole bunch of gold now. He's got almost 2,400 in his pockets. Oh, and there's a Crystal Arrow. Nails Hawkeye.
Blizzard and Inti are not done yet. Hawkeye, though, ignited, but he is safe in the backline, pumping out a ton of damage. He is going to find one kill with the piercing arrow, or Mega Bro actually going to pick that one up, but one kill. The TDM's bot lane is Blizzard and Inti. That does not go as planned, and now Scarility might be roaming bot side. Looks like he's going to content himself with picking up this red buff, but I thought for a second he might have Blizzard's number.
Might be close.
Hey, he's going to get it.
It's going to get that one, so Tree Rover not quite able to get that buff there, but yeah, I really thought Inti and Blizzard were going to be able to pick that one up, but Mega Bro, that ult was huge, right? He's also just so tanky right now. Kind of strange. I mean, he's just got the Bambi Cinder, so there's not
Aftershock is broken.
Many. Yeah, I was gonna say, as there might be a keystone that's kind of factoring into this. I would think Inti would be way more tanky than Mega Bro is. I mean, they have the Gargoyle Stone Plate, right? But I guess not. Zac is just very, very strong, and so is Aftershock, and they aren't even able to pick up one kill on the support. So very, very poorly there for Bay Team. What I will say is, though, at least Blizzard didn't die, right? Still has that shutdown gold on him, so not too disastrous.
TDM, though, look what they're doing, right? Setting up for this Rift Herald play. Next Herald spawning in just a few seconds, about 5 seconds, and total top side control in favor of TDM. They rotated Mega Bro and Demonic Xmas to this top half of the map. Only Hawkeye is bot lane. Got some pressure top lane, threatened to dive. That sentence on to Mega Bro, but he's not gonna be too phased by that, right? We talked about how tanky this guy is. So I think TDM are gonna look to make a play over this Herald. I'm actually a little surprised they didn't take it off One Figure's Mesh's reset. I thought they might, but they're playing a little bit slower. Might be playing sort of the long con, right? Looking for this dragon, just trying to deny the Herald from going over to Bay Team.
Yeah, for sure. I'm playing slowly, I don't think is the worst thing. And they're not really in a rush. I don't think there's any point where Bay Team is going to go, oh, here comes the Crystal Arrow. Oh, Hawkeye with the sidestep. Just going to get right out of the way of that skill shot.
That's the Q TDM needed to start up this Herald. That's it right there. Yeah,
exactly. Crystal Arrow is down. Let's go for the Rift Herald. Whatever that means.
Well, Crystal Arrow is down. One Finger Smash bot lane too. Right now, they know that multiple members of Bay Team are bot lane, and one of their primary engage tools is down. So
for sure, so they're going to be picking up the Rift Herald, and I'm thinking maybe they go mid with this. There's 3 lanes, right? But I think they go mid. The Rift Herald does a whole lot of damage to inner turrets, so I think it would be pretty beneficial. Now, they might just wait for this dragon to come up and kind of pull the same play they did for the last dragon, just kind of trying to make Bay Team decide and make them choose between either a turret or the dragon. I think that probably worked fairly well for them. That next dragon is in 45 seconds. The Ocean Dragon, of course. So, and TDM are setting up for it.
I do want to clarify for the chat that I hate everyone equally. No specific group of people more so than any other. So, the slander, I'll fight against it in the chat. as TDM do set up for this dragon. They're third at the game. This is a crucially important dragon, right? Because if they can pick up this dragon, then only one more dragon stands between TDM and Dragon Soul, which means they can basically threaten double win conditions, right? They can threaten not only the Baron, but also the dragon, which right now, really fantastic setup from TDM as they are moving towards setting this baby up, as my client is like bugging out right now. So if a fight happens,
Gotcha.
you might have to cast it.
I will cast the fight if it happens. But yeah, just to look at the mini map here is a sea of red. I mean, most of that is down to the Rek'Sai tunnels, but there's also just so many wards on the
All right,
map.
I'm back with us if Herald just got dropped,
Gotcha.
which I just saw it get dropped. So
Gotcha. Okay.
I think we're good.
Yeah, so that Rift Herald did get dropped mid, and TDM are going to be pulling the same play they did earlier, dropping the Herald and then taking the Dragon. Now, this time, they weren't able to get both. Bait Team was able to kill the Herald before he got a charge off, so a little bit of an improvement, but now TDM are on soul points, so it might be too late, Baymax.
I'm frozen again, so...
All right, Baymax frozen again?
Oh, no, we're here. We're good. I'm catching back up.
All right,
on 8 times speed, and we're here 2147, and it's frozen again. So this is looking fantastic.
Frozen again. All right,
we're good though. But you know what? You're
Okay.
right. We're threatening Dragon Soul. So TDM in a pretty good spot. You were talking about who has the lead. I think it is without a doubt at this point TDM. Bay Team starting to maybe fall off, starting to maybe feel some of their, in my opinion, inferior team composition. We talked a little bit about that early on, about their lack of damage. How they might struggle to kill some of the threats that TDM have. And I think you're seeing it, right? The primary engage tools that Bay Team have, they are normally good engage tools, but when Scurrility is there with his Wind Wall, when Mega Bro is there with the Stone Plate, which he doesn't have yet, but will have soon, right? When these big tanks are standing in the way, when Wind Wall is standing in the way, those engage tools are really not all that strong. The Arrow can get Wind Walled, the Glacial Prison can get Wind Walled, and then what are you left doing? You're just left doing nothing, just sort of kiting, trying to do your best to keep Scurrility under wraps, but he's just going to pop off. He's just going to murder your whole team because he is a 2 and 3 Asu with 190 CS. He's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And everything coming out of Bay Team is essentially ability based, right? I mean, obviously Blizzard has auto attacks coming through, but the most essential parts of Ash's kit are really the abilities, the Crystal Arrow, and the W as well. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but so yeah, I mean, all these kind of skills, skill shot abilities with long cooldowns, and that's kind of the same across Bay Team, right? I mean, almost all members have these long cooldown skill shots that Yasuo can block. So it really is just a question of, can Bay Team use these in a way that garners them an advantage? You know, they have to play around the wind wall. You have to play around these different variables that are going to try and prevent them from using these abilities. And you know, if they can't do that, then they can't win these fights. So they are already pretty far behind, right? So at this point, it would have to be some pretty nifty skill shots, right? But we've been seeing some of those throughout the game already, and we've seen some pretty good death sentences from NT Script, seen some pretty good crystal arrows from Blizzard. So I don't think this game is over just yet, but it's getting
Triblade,
there, right?
I think Triblade's in trouble. Takes Hanakun to the death realm, but the entirety of Bay Team is there to back him up, so Hanakun gonna be totally fine. Or back her up, excuse me. Triblade running for his life, forced to flash away, and is gonna be taken down regardless, as Demonic Xmas trying to get himself in that fight, but just gets arrowed by Blizzard. As the chat mentioned it, Scurrility, he's got the main disengage for TDM, but he's not there. No wind wall to block that arrow. And speaking of wind wall, One Finger Smash looking for this 1v1 wind wall, not doing
I don't know
the
if he
Phantom
does.
Dancer's shield doing so much for Scurrility. I thought One Finger Smash might pick up that win, but 213 CS, Blade of the Ruin King, Phantom Dancer, Yasuo, just too much. Now looking mid lane, Bay Team trying to make something happen. Mega Bro on the flank with the elastic slingshot under the turret. Here comes, let's bounce. It's time to bounce. Demonic Xmas onto the backside, finding a shutdown on to Blizzard as the main carry for Bay Team is dead. Now Hawkeye picking up
and
his
here's
scraps as
Scurrility.
Hanakun is the next to fall. Free Rover running for his life. Arctic Assault not going to get him out of that one. Last breath, securing his last breath as he goes down as well. 4 members of Bay Team dead off of what was initially a pick on the Tri-Blade, right? Bay Team were in the lead off that, but now TDM, they are the ones winning the fight. They are the ones threatening Baron.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy the Bay Team lost this 3v4, right? I mean, that's just so nuts to me. But yeah, Scurrility rejoining the fight there. really kind of spelled doom for Bay Team. And now TDM have taken Baron, and it just continues to get worse for Bay Team. That next Dragon is going to be up in 45 seconds. You have to imagine TDM are going to be making a play for that one. That will give them the Ocean Soul. And if they get Ocean Soul and Baron buff, Baymax, I don't know if there's very much Bay Team can do to stop them from taking the Nexus.
Yeah, that's definitely scary, right? We talked about Ocean Soul being a win condition for TDM, about them having 2 win conditions, right, between Baron and Ocean Soul. Now they can basically pick up both. They got the Baron off the back of a really nice team fight, and you have to wonder if TDM can win a fight like that without their main carry even present, right? Triblade was dead, Skirldy wasn't there. What fight can't they win? Well, right now, we might have to see. We might see. Bay Team, they're going to look for that fight that TDM can't win, because I think they have to fight over this Dragon. You mentioned it. Ocean Soul is ridiculously broken.
Yeah, and if they don't fight over it, I think they have to at least kind of make some kind of contest and maybe try to waste some of this time. They are expending some of their Baron buff to take this Dragon, so I think if you kind of draw that out a little bit, that might be helpful. But yeah, Bay Team just disengages completely. I'm not sure if that was the move there, but once again, you mentioned Bay Team just isn't winning these team fights, so I'm not sure if fighting over Dragon would have garnered them any kind of success, right? So maybe it's good that they just back off. But One Finger Smash desperately trying to defend this bot lane turret from Scarility. Scarility just completely ignoring the Darius and whacking down that turret.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Bay Team trying to force a fight in the mid lane. They know Scarility's not there. They see their chance. They go for it. Mega Bro, so tanky, is caught out eventually, ends up dying. Not before Hanakun is taken very, very low by that piercing arrow. In the bot lane, though, look in the side lanes, right? Scarility winning the 1v1 versus One Finger Smash, and top lane Triblade pushing unimpeded. Bay Team, they did pick up the kill. They found the pick onto Mega Bro, but their base is beginning to bleed out.
Yeah, and Scarility was able to pick up that last little bit of the crit chance that they needed. I think they have like 90% now.
Bay Team's not done yet. Glacial Prison onto the Demonic Xmas does manage to get off the Unburrow. Bot lane, last breath onto Scarility as the last empowered Q, the Steel Tempest Tornado, is going to land. Now Scarility dropping the wind wall to get himself safe from Blizzard's auto attacks, which do hurt a little bit. Top lane Triblade still whacking away at that turret. Bot lane inhibitor broken open, taken down by TDM. One member of Bay Team dead. It's a 4 versus 4. Triblade taking up top lane turret, taking that down as well. Hanakun actually doing pretty good damage. Going to probably force him off that inhibitor, as the rest of TDM eventually going to be forced to reset, but at what cost, right? Bay Team, they lost a lot of turrets.
Yeah, for sure. It almost looked like One Finger Smash's axe was healing Scarility there. Triblade actually might be in trouble.
Yeah, I guess he decided not to back off with the rest of his team, right? Takes Hanakun to the Death Realm, does end up finding the kill. What can he do with it, though? 2 members of Bay Team waiting for him. Inti, gonna be the next to die. He says 2 members waiting for me. 2 more kills for an Ocean Soul Mordekaiser. He's got Hanakun's soul to help him out. The 10% bonus stats putting in somewhere.
Crystal Arrow
does win the 1 versus 2. Now Hawkeye might be caught out. One Finger Smash, a really nice apprehend on a 3. Hawkeye taken so low, eventually shut down by Blizzard, but not before Mega Bro finds One Finger Smash. Demonic Xmas cleaning up the party, cleaning up the mess, picking up the next onto Blizzard.
Yeah, and it looks like that surrender vote is going to come through from Bay Team. So we are going to be moving through to game 2. Now, you mentioned, Baymax, that the last time these 2 teams met, it was TDM that took Bay Team out in a 2-0 sweep. Do you think we're going to see that again tonight?
You know what? It's hard to say, right? TDM, I think this was in large part a draft difference. I really feel like TDM's draft was significantly better than Bay Team's. But that being said, Bay Team definitely showed signs of life, right? There were certain things about the Bay Team composition I really thought went well, and I thought that a lot of the players played pretty well. So we'll see what ends up happening. I think step number 1, if you're Bay Team, you take Triblade off Mordekaiser, or you find something that One Finger Smash can play that is not going to lose to it. You know, something safe that you can plop him in the top lane and have him still have some sort of impact later on, like cough, maybe an Ornn, you know, something like that can just sort of not worry about laning phase and still be insanely impactful. Or, you know, you can throw some more damage into your team, or I shouldn't even say or. On top of that, you can throw some damage into your team find either a higher damage AD carry. I think Misfortune may have been open. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but something with more damage than the Ashe was open. Mid lane as well. There's higher damage mid laners that are open. Things like Azir or Zoe or Syndra or whatever, right? Things other than a Karma. Karma's fine if your AD carry is going to bring the damage, but if your AD carry is not going to bring the damage, it's got to come from somewhere. So I think those are sort of the big problems. But like Inti was popping off. Some of the engage, some of the looks from the team, from Blizzard, from Tree Rover, some of that looked good as well. Some of the early game looked really, really good. So I definitely think it's winnable. But TDM looks pretty clean. It's hard to say, but I think it's probably likely that we're going to go to a 2-0 in favor of TDM.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. And just to kind of touch on what you were saying, the Ornn would have fit into this comp like with no other changes so well. With Ornn here, it's just kind of a protect the Ashe comp, right? And that's fine with me. Obviously, Ashe isn't bringing tons of damage to the table as much as other ADCs would be. But, you know, if you had been Ornn and Sejuani, all these champions just protecting the Ashe and just kind of making sure they have what they need to succeed in the late game, I think it would have been a lot better. I mean, you're seeing Ashe do more damage from the Ornn item, having more protection, I think, as well with Ornn there over Darius. So we kind of saw in that last little fight that they had a little bit of success with the apprehend, and Blizzard was able to get some damage off. Just imagine what they could have had if they had more CC from a tank, right? But yeah, definitely some draft issues. I don't think that necessarily they lost the game in draft. I feel like they maybe just kind of misplayed the comp a little bit. We were talking about through most of the game just how this is kind of a utility comp, and the way you use the utility decides if you win or not. I think there was just some misuse of it in different parts of the game.
All right, I think we're going to take it to a quick break. When we come back, we are going to have game number 2 of TDM versus Bay Team. TDM currently up 1-0. Can Bay Team bring it back? Claw of victory from the depths of despair. We will see. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 of TDM versus Bay Team. We are loading in. This game was pro drafted, and I won't spoil too much, but there's some interesting picks coming through here. These teams are a little bit curious looking. I got a lot to say about it. I know you do too, X-Man, so welcome back. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. Bit of a long break there, but we got there in the end. But yeah, so we saw the pro draft, a little strange. So that will all be revealed to you shortly. But just to kind of spoil things, I have no idea where anyone on TDM is going. I thought I knew, but now I don't.
I have a pretty good idea of who their AD carry is. I have a...
yes. I also, that would be the one that I could probably pick out from a lineup. But apart from that, a little bit of confusion there, and some interesting picks from Bay Team as well. They have the Jax jungle, which, while isn't, it's not a bad pick. Jax is a jungler, right? It's not bizarre or anything. There are just so many good junglers out there in my mind. It's kind of weird that they picked up Jax, but definitely one of those champions with a lot of carry potential. So we will see how that works out for them. And Hanakun on this game is on Nico, so a little bit different from that Karma last game.
A little bit different from Karma. We do see Mordekaiser picked up for TDM, although if the current draft is set up as to be believed, it looks like the Mordekaiser might be going to Scurrility instead of Triblade, which would be a bit of a surprise. You might end up seeing that get swapped around a little bit, but like you said, hard to know for sure where that's going. Normally, Triblade is the Mordekaiser player, so having it being hovered by Scurrility for now is a bit confusing. Varus locked in again for Hawkeye. He looked pretty good on it last time around, so I'm not upset about it going over again. We did talk a little bit about how we expected Bay Team to switch their draft up, and one of the things that we mentioned was we wanted to see Bay Team get a little bit more damage, right? We wanted to see something more come through than just an Ashe, and you mentioned it, right? Jax does do a lot of damage early, or not early. He does do a lot of damage late, right? He scales into a significant DPS threat, but that being said, early game, not so much. Jax is not that scary early game, and typically with Jungle Jax, which I think is what Bay Team is running, Jungle Jax typically goes Cinder Hulk and goes a little bit tankier because Jungle Jax doesn't get as much golden come as Lane Jax unless you get fed off ganks early, which doesn't always happen. In fact, oftentimes you get bullied early because Jax is relatively weak early. So normally you go for Cinder Hulk into some tankier items. You might still get a Triforce, but I mean, overall, less of a sort of carry heavy build and more of a bruiser Jax, which doesn't necessarily solve Bay Team's damage problem. That being said, I really do like Ashe more into what TDM have now. There's no Yasuo in wall to block the Ashe arrow, and I feel like Ashe, just as a champion, does a pretty good job of kiting all the big fat boys that TDM have drafted, right? She thrives in using high attack speed and the Blade of the Ruined King to kite and do a lot of damage and do a lot of slowing to some of these big sort of fat boys. So maybe I don't hate the Ashe pick, but some of the other stuff is a little bit confusing.
For sure, and I think probably the most bizarre part of this draft is, for me at least, in comparison to Game 1, TDM dominated on this kind of Yasuo draft, right, where there was displacements across the board and a bunch of different champions kits, and then they just used the Yasuo and was able to ult in a lot of different scenarios. It's like TDM were trying to run that back and then just forgot to pick Yasuo. All these champions have so much synergy with Yasuo, but they just don't have that champion on their team. So it is kind of strange. We're looking at a comp that's like you mentioned, just kind of a bunch of big boys and Varus. I mean, there's some damage coming out of these champions for sure. None of them are like straight tanks or anything. I think with the exception maybe Zach, but yeah,
Cho'Gath is pretty much a straight tank. You can build him AP, but he's a tanky boy.
Yeah, for sure. So it's almost like TDM are kind of having the problem that Bay Team had last game. I'm kind of asking myself, where is the damage coming from? And the easy answer is just like, well, Mordekaiser does damage, and Trundle does some damage, and Cho'Gath does some damage, and Zach does some damage, but, none of them are, like, huge carries, right? I mean, Mordekaiser maybe, but apart from that, I'm kind of left wondering, is who's going to carry here? Because the way it's looking to me, it really has to be Hawkeye, which is fine. I mean, there's comps that work that way, but when we watched the first game, I wouldn't throw all of my eggs into the Hawkeye basket. I think they ended up doing okay, but I think that was in large part because the top side of the map was able to get so much of an advantage that eventually the kind of failings of the bot lane just kind of
Hold
receded
on a
into the
second, though.
background.
Hold on. You're being taught. Hey, you know what? I think Hawkeye did really well. His support is a Zac. Zac doesn't do anything in laning phase.
Well, I didn't pick the
Blizzard got
Zac.
that
They
level 1
did.
kill. And Zed, I get what you're saying, and they have it again. But what I'm saying is, I think Hawkeye's mechanics are pretty good, and I think he was doing a lot of damage in fights, right? Even though that they got a little bit behind early on, he did really well at sort of losing gracefully, and not even losing gracefully, going even gracefully, and then sort of popping off in mid-game team fights. I think Hawkeye did fine.
Yeah, no, I think Hawkeye did fine too. I just think Hawkeye didn't do so good that I would say, all right, next game we're all going tanks. Hawkeye will carry us. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I would have made this play. I think I might have, put at least a couple more members on some damage dealing champions. That said, Mordekaiser is like a straight tank or anything. He does damage, so he's gonna do damage in fights. It's gonna depend on how laning phase goes with this Nico, but I mean, it's not like he's just building Warmogs and slapping people. He's gonna do damage.
All right, X-Man, we'll have more time to talk about this. We are going to go to a short break. When we come back from the break, we'll be coming at you with game number 2 of TDM versus Bay Team. Don't go anywhere. We will be back in a few minutes. Stream sound is there. We're not there, which is fine. All right, sweet. I think we're good. Okay. Welcome, everybody. We are back. We had a little bit of a pause to start that game off with, but we are here now. 40 seconds on the clock as we are back and ready for Bay Team's second game here. Bay Team and TDM going at it again. This is Bay Team's chance to get back in this series. They are down 0-1 versus Team Dark Matter. Can they claw it back, or will TDM continue their sort of death march as the second seed? Axeman, what are your thoughts?
You know, you can get 2-0 once, Baymax, but you can't get 2-0 twice, right? You got to at least take one game here if you're Bay Team, and just to avoid embarrassment, if nothing else. But they want to move further in the playoffs, right? So winning this series is very important, but just at least get one game. So hopefully they can pick this one up if you're a Bay Team fan. But both these comps are looking pretty strange. You got some weird picks, right? We were talking about that in the draft a little bit. A couple of strange ones. To be honest, it's almost weird. Most of these picks are just kind of like on the edge of the meta. Not necessarily bad picks or anything, but maybe suboptimal picks or picks you might take if you just kind of like the champion, had more hours on it, which is, something you probably expect to see in competitive. So we will definitely be seeing some of these stranger matchups. The one that sticks out the most to me, Baymax, is going to be the Nico Mordekaiser matchup. Not really sure how this one goes. Do you have any insight on that one?
As Triblade might be looking for a solo kill top lane, actually. It's very low tanks in the top lane. Nico is sort of a champion that starts off the game having pretty high amounts of damage, but her base value doesn't really carry into the late game, right? So as the game goes later, she's played really more for the setup and more for the massive crowd control that her ultimate provides. So, versus a Mordekaiser lane, I can see that lane being relatively even, with Hanakun having the shove advantage. But I think as time goes on, I do like Team Dark Matter's, or I like the Mordekaiser's odds in the 1v1, but I think Team Dark Matter have drafted a team that doesn't scale quite as well as what Bay Team have. With a Jax jungle, I think that Treeover could be putting in a lot of work if he doesn't get too far behind on this pick. Although, as I'm saying that, he is bot lane, potentially wasting some time, while in the top side of the map, Demonic Xmas taking away his Krugs, maybe his Raptors as well, getting a little bit counter jungled here. So we'll see if Treeover can respond to that if he takes away Demonic's Raptors. Looks like he's not going to be for now, going back to his Wolf camp. So maybe the Jax jungle not off to the best start.
Yeah, for sure. You want to eliminate some of that dead time, right? And as much as possible when you're jungling, you don't want to get behind, especially if the other jungler is just kind of chaining the camps together. In this case, like you mentioned, Demonic Xmas is chaining together enemy camps. So some vertical jungling going on. This has the potential to put Treeover very far behind. And in the jungle right now, it's very difficult to get back into the game if you're that far behind. Treeover actually now... just kind of standing on a ward. Obviously, he doesn't know the ward is there, but this is another situation where there's just a lot of time being wasted. Now, it does garner them a flash use from Hawkeye there, so a little bit of value, but man, he just got so far behind, right, Baymax? That was really rough.
Well, it's a little bit strange, to see Treeover looking for so many ganks early when Jax is a champion that normally you'd want to get a scaling champion some camps early. You want to make sure you get that gold value and you scale. But looking mid lane, Hanakun might be looking for the pick on Scurrility. Tanglethorns keeping Scurrility tied up for a long time. First blood of the Treeover. It's a party in the mid lane. Blizzard and Inti have roamed up as well. Demonic Xmas might be the next one to fall. Flash is traded from the junglers. But Treeover, he is running down Demonic Xmas. Probably only going to be a matter of time. Another flash into another Tangle Barb is going to be another kill for Hanakun. 2-0 on this Nico mid lane right now. So 2-0 on the Nico mid. Very, very strong, obviously. You mentioned how that mid lane matchup is going to go. I think the Nico, strong pick early on. Hanakun proving very strong. And that bot lane roam up from Blizzard, from Inti, was actually super, super impressive, right? That was sort of a 200 IQ bait. I don't think Scurrility or Demonic Xmas ever would have expected to have a 4-man party in the mid lane 4.5 minutes in. But that's exactly what Bay Team did. And I think I like to see the proactivity coming out, right? Forcing these plays, making these proactive decisions come through to try to catch TDM off guard. And so far, Bay Team doing a pretty good job of that as a dragon is spawning on the map here. What are you thinking about this dragon? If you're there, X-Men, I think we lost X-Men. Oh God, everybody. Well, you know what? I'm still here, so I'll keep talking. Dragon has spawned onto the rifts. It's an Infernal Dragon, first dragon of the game. TDM on a little bit behind, right? They lost those first 2 kills. The gold difference is not extraordinary. Scurrility was up in CS mid lane, but those first couple kills going over to Hanakun likely going to give her the pressure that she needs to get lane priority and shove this in, but not if Demonic Xmas is going to gank her. Demonic Xmas dropping the pillar mid lane. Scurrility taking Hanakun into the death realm with the level 6 advantage. Now teleport him from one finger smash. He's looking for more Twisted Advance to try to knock up Demonic Xmas and buy time so you can kite down a Tree Rover. But level 4 on Tree Rover to level 6 on the solo laners. I'm not sure if this is a fight that Bay Team actually wants, or the disengage did come through too late for Hanakun to actually get anything done. So Hanakun died. One finger smash invested teleport, and TDM didn't really lose anything. In fact, Triblade, some more time to farm up for free in the top lane here. Tree over and one finger smash, not even able to secure Scuttle Crab for all their trouble here, as Scurrility's looking for more of a fight. Hanakun is almost back though, and Scurrility hasn't reset, is gonna get stunned up by the counter strike, but Triblade is here. He's got the ultimate almost available feast on about a 5-second cooldown at this point. Looks like one figure smash, Hanakun, Tree over, gonna back off, just let that Scuttle Crab go down, say, we don't want to get eaten by a giant void monster. We are gonna go ahead and let that jungle go away. As a hook lands bot lane, Inti picking up Hawkeye, punishing the flashless AD carry. Now Inti got the flash of his own onto Mega Bro, looking for that knock up, the power fist coming out from the Blotch Kronk to force yet another flash. So Scurrility, the only sort of damage dealer on his team right now that still has his flash available, and now 3-1, another kill picked up for Bay Team, but TDM do end up trading one back onto Hanakun at the end of a long fight there. Rift Herald is spawning onto the map relatively soon here, so that's another epic jungle monster that we are gonna have available. Both these teams going to be looking to fight over some of these objectives soon, but with Hanakun as strong of a position as she is mid lane, I definitely think that Bay Team are probably going to have priority over some of these objectives if they want them. Top lane though, Triblade putting in some work, actually kind of close to solo killing. One finger smash there in the side lane, doesn't quite have the feast available at the current moment. Both teams just sort of chilling for the time being, probably waiting for some of those ultimate cooldowns to come back available. The Death Realm almost available again for Scurrility, and this is a Mordekaiser. We talked about Hanakun getting that lead early on, but now Scurrility got a kill for himself, picked up a Hextech revolver of his own. He is in a strong position, and he's got pressure mid lane, rotating down into the jungle with Demonic Xmas, clearing out some of that dragon vision, trying to set up for this dragon. And both teams, you can see, right? Sweeper picked up for Inti, clearing out vision in the pit, looking for any wards the TDM may have swept down. And it looks like Bay Team might end up looking for a fight here, might end up looking to get on top of Scurrility. It's hard to gank a Mordekaiser though, right? He's got the Death Realm available. Not a lot that he can do, or not a lot that you can do to punish a Mordekaiser, even one that is extended, right? Because you can just drag somebody to that Death Realm, and all of a sudden a 2 versus 1 becomes a 1 versus 1. So really, really hard for Bay Team to really get much with the lead that they have. Right now, they're sort of waiting for an opportunity to team fight. Sort of waiting for some of their big cooldowns to come online. Blizzard only now, recently hitting level 6. Tree Rover, of course, trying to scale up on this Jax, trying to farm, trying to get some items. Gonna need a Cinderhulk or even a Blood Razor or a Warrior to come through before he can really start doing anything. And TDM, they take advantage of that. They start up this dragon. First dragon of the game. Overwhelmingly likely to go over to Team Dark Matter. Even though Bay Team have the 3-1 kill lead, TDM, they pull the trigger on the jungle objectives. But look at what Tree Rover is doing, right? Starting up this Herald on the other side of the map. He knows that dragon just got taken by Demonic Xmas. He's got lane pressure in the top lane. Got some lane pressure in the mid lane. Feels empowered to start up this Rift Herald. But Triblade, one finger smash, battling it out a little bit here. Tree Rover might be in trouble. The Rupture is going to land. The silence is there. The feast is available for Triblade. He's going to pick up that kill. And Tree Rover tries to punish TDM for their dragon tech by taking away the Herald, but is actually just punished for it himself. he's killed. He's dead. Triblade picking up that kill. And TDM, not only did they get the first dragon of the game, but they are overwhelmingly likely to pick up the first Herald as well. So that's a fantastic start to the game for TDM. And I think I heard a Discord reconnect sound, so I don't know if Axeman is with me now. He might be. Hanakun looking for a solo kill in the mid lane. Pop Blossom and Ignite dropping Scurrility so low. That empowered auto attack from the Nico passive, from the inherent glamour, picking up that kill for Hanakun.
I think I'm back now. I wasn't sure about that one. It was interesting. I thought that you were the one that DC'd, so I've been solo casting.
Normally it is me, right?
I have been solo casting for like the past 3 minutes or something, and then somebody messaged me and said, "Hey, we can't hear you." So I guess it was me that DC'd, but I'm back now. So here we are, and I think probably the biggest thing over the last couple of minutes is that Hanakun had that advantage for themselves, getting the double kill earlier, and it's just kind of been slipping here a little bit. I think they should be around even. Actually, they picked up a kill recently, so they're a little bit back. Up ahead there, and
look at Triblade. Oh my god, he's so tanky. He might be in trouble though. One Finger Smash trying to finally take the fight to Triblade after being punished for so long. Rupture is gonna land. Both junglers actually on their way up here, as Tree Rover and Demonic Xmas are both looking for something. Triblade doesn't have the feast available. He actually just used it on the minion wave, but he should get out of this one. But to your point, you were talking about TDM sort of getting a lead in this game, right? The jungle objective priority has been really insane. I think you saw it. You said you didn't actually disconnect from the game, just the Discord call. That first dragon went over to Bay Team, and then TDM, not only did Bay Team get that first dragon, TDM tried to take the Herald, got punished there as well. Now Scurrility, it's a 2 versus 2 in the mid lane, rapidly becoming a 3 versus 3 as teleport from Triblade comes in, looking for more. Mega Bro forced to let's bounce, trying to get Hanakun out of that fight. Ignite is pop. Tree Over trying to run down Scurrility as he drops so very low. That is not, the Conqueror healing is not going to be enough to save him, but now Tree Over, really deep pillar, almost going to knock him into the Rupture. Not quite though. Triblade trading 1 kill back, a 1-for-1, but you know what? Getting a kill onto a scaling Jax, I will take that 1-for-1 any day of the week if I'm Bay Team.
Yeah, it would have been cool, right? The pillar into the Rupture, but it didn't quite happen there. And yeah, it was so strange they were able to pick up that dragon because they had so much just pressure, I think, from the Hanakun, just having so much power after those couple of kills. And it wasn't like they were behind in the bot lane either. It was just that, the TDM just kind of shoved those waves in and went to dragon. So very well executed, but that's definitely well done for them. Got that next dragon coming up, minute 30 here. So these teams should be starting to set up for that one. But we do have the Rift Herald, I believe it was dropped top lane earlier. So yeah, that first outer turret is missing up there. So trying to get back into the game a little bit here. I think I missed a little bit of it, but
Hanakun Pop Blossom onto Triblade, hooked under a turret by Inti. This is a pretty tanky Cho'Gath though. Might be able to walk out of this one. GLP slow picked up by Hanakun, gonna do a lot to slow down Triblade. The Power Fist from Inti is gonna force the flash, but nothing more. Triblade is really tanky.
Yeah, it was really close, right? I'm not really sure Tree Rover's Jax pick is really turning out the way they expected it to. I'm not 100% that this is what they were looking for from the Jax. One thing I'll point out, and I'm not 100% on whether this is meta for Jax jungle, but got the Blood Razor, right? I'm not sure if you pointed that out. I know
it's been a while since I've seen Jax jungle, but I'm almost certain that Cinder Hulk is better most times. So that being said, there's a big front line on TDM, right? So I can see. Sorry, go ahead. Are you there? All right, we lose you again? Did we lose me? I think we lost Axeman again. Oh no. Okay, well, hopefully he'll come back to us. But I think Cinder Hulk is better on Jax jungle, but Blood Razor, I can see it being useful as sort of whacking away at some of TDM's big beefy frontline, right? Because they do have so many tanks. You have a Cho'Gath 2-0 on Triblade. He's already got 110 CS. Let's take a peek at his max HP. Oh, by the way, he's got 2,700 HP on this guy. So that is massive, right? That's almost twice as much as some of the other champions in this game. In fact, more than twice as much. That's 1,100 HP on Hawkeye, right? Blizzard sitting on 1,192 as well. By the way, while I'm rambling about how much HP these champions have and how ridiculously tanky Triblade is, first dragon does get picked up, or second dragon picked up by TDM. Oh, another mountain dragon So for first mountain dragon of the game, another dragon. Now we're threatening Dragon Soul. I think I heard another reconnect sound. So Axeman, I think you're back.
Sorry about that. I have no idea what's going on with Discord tonight, but yeah, interesting enough, it's going to be another Ocean Soul. And once again, TDM have the advantage on getting that soul. So we might just be seeing a run back at game one, just TDM having another dominant game, getting that soul and just converting it into a victory. But obviously I would hope for a little bit more variety, but that seems to be where we're headed, Baymax.
Yeah, and you know where Hawkeye and Mega Bro are headed? To their deaths, as Inti lands another hook. So maybe not to their deaths. The Black Blast maybe pop now as the re-engage comes through from Demonic Xmas and Triblade, where it turns out Bay Team is actually the team that stepped too far forward. It may have been Hawkeye that got hooked, but Bay Team are losing the fight. Hawkeye finding a kill onto Inti. Mega Bro eventually going to burn down to one figure smash. Tree Rover, though, has re-engaged, looking for more. Teleport as well, coming down from one figure smash. Hanakun showing up. Tangle Barbs under turret. Hawkeye dropping so very low. Eventually going to fall to Hanakun, but not before trading one back onto Tree Rover. Another kill traded back and forth. At the end of the day, a 3 for 2 in favor of TDM, Bay Team, in favor of Bay Team. But look at TDM's top lane, right? This is Triblade taking almost everything that Bay Team have in the top lane.
Yeah, and it's actually Scurrility who they traded Mordekaisers or something. I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, but Bay Team just managing to kind of claw their way back into that fight. I was super weird to watch that. Definitely back and forth, but yeah, they do come out on top. Maybe a little bit, not 100% sure. They lost most of their top lane, so that's definitely pretty rough. And it looks like one or more teams now moving towards this Rift Herald. That could be an important objective for either team. Really, it could help Bay Team get back into this game. I mean, they haven't broken open any of the structures on Summoner's Rift yet. So, picking up this Rift Herald could definitely help them get that ball rolling. Or for TDM to just help close this game out. If they can get that one run down.
That's an Ash arrow mid lane.
Big
onto
arrow.
Mega Bros. The follow up there. The hook from Inti. One figure smash is there with the Twisted Advance and a knockup. But it was all used before Mega Bro began charging the Elastic Slingshot. So a little bit of a mechanical misplay there. If you ever play against the Zac and you got so much crowd control, try to chain it together or hold on to it until he starts charging that slingshot, because that probably could have been a free kill onto Mega Bro. But now TDM, they are the ones that feel empowered to start up this Herald. Mega Bro still alive and still healthy. Tree Over jumping onto him, trying to find some damage, but this is a Zac we're talking about with a Knight's Vow. Pretty tanky. As Scurrility in the front line, a really nice Death's Grasp to try to get some damage down onto the front line of Bay Team, and Bay Team eventually just forced to back off for that Herald. So the second Herald of the game going over to TDM as well. Win after win to TDM.
Yep, and Bay Team might be able to take down this mid turret here, but they got to do it quickly because Hawkeye and Mega Bro can definitely do a lot to defend the turret, but doesn't look like anyone else from TDM is too interested in defending. And Bay Team might not be interested in attacking either, as Scurrility is running down their top inhib turret, and he's got Demonic X's with him, which is quite the party indeed. Tree Rover definitely can't handle that one, so they're gonna need a couple more hands on deck for that.
Yeah, I think Demonic Xmas was thinking about dropping that Herald top lane, trying to break open that inhibitor, but ultimately decided against it, decided maybe we should wait on that one. That turret is already pretty low. I think if TDM can sort of force a fight on the bottom half of the map with Scurrility up there, that turret is going to die. One figure smash, I don't know if he's strong enough to survive in the against the Mordekaiser in the 1v1. We did see a Proto Belt, first item for Scurrility, which is, I'm not a big fan of it. I think Leandri's would probably have been better because we talked about both teams having massive front lines to burn through. And Mordekaiser with Leandri's is really good at burning through some of those massive front lines, especially something like a Maokai. But Proto Belt is going to help one-shotting squishies, finding those picks, fighting the Death Realm onto the backline, onto Hanakun or onto Blizzard. So never a bad item. Proto Belt is a nice, aggressive first item. And now, as I was talking about the Herald top lane, bot lane turret does fall in favor of TDM, but now here comes Demonic Xmas and Scurrility top lane, dropping that Herald, shoving that wave in as Bay Team try to set up for this dragon. Their top lane inhibitor is being broken open and Blizzard forced to recall to stop the push coming through, but it was the bait top side of the map. Tree Over looking for a fight onto Mega Bro, who's forced to use the Let's Bounce, but he's done for it. Let's Bounce is not going to bounce him out of where he needs to be. Kill going over to Bait Team, as they are the ones able to start up this dragon, even though TDM broke open the top lane inhibitor. Now Triblade and Skrill going over. A flash over the wall is not gonna find the feast. Triblade's looking for a nice pop blossom onto Skrill. He is gonna buy Hanakun some time in the death realm, but it's probably not gonna be enough. The Proto Belt doing so much work in this 1v1. Skrill is coming out of the death realm. Hanakun gonna end up falling to a piercing arrow, but Mega Bro did get traded back, and a 1-for-1. Bay Team picked up the dragon, so ultimately maybe worth it for Bay Team.
Yeah, it's definitely better than the trades they've had so far in the series. They've had some pretty gnarly ones, so I think you just kind of take what you can get at this point, right? They got the dragon, which I think is probably the main thing here. They're not going to get that the earliest possible dragon soul for the enemy team now. They delayed that a little bit, and I think that in and of itself is worth it, because you just can't let TDM get the dragon soul as soon as possible again, right? In game one, that was pretty much just how they won, is just you just get the dragon soul, picked up Baron as well, and then just kind of walked in the Nexus. At some point you have to say, we need to get these objectives, and I believe, I might be wrong about this, Baymax, I think that's their first one of the series. They might have picked up a Rift Herald in game one though.
I think Bay Team did get a Rift Herald in game one, but that is their first dragon of the series, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure all the dragons in game one did end up going over to TDM. So that is sort of signature to Bay Team. The Bay Team actually, in terms of all the games played in Style Esports, Bay Team actually have more heralds taken than TDM do, despite losing way more games. So Bay Team generally spend a lot more time prioritizing the top half of the map and breaking open the game early, as opposed to stacking those dragons and looking for a dragon soul, which isn't working out for them too well here, right? TDM did get both of the first two heralds. TDM has a pretty substantial gold lead, about 3k ahead, even though there is actually a kill lead in favor of Bay Team. And TDM actually is just starting up this Baron right now. Bay Team don't have vision in the pit. They do have vision on Mega Bro, but that might actually play in favor of TDM, because I don't think Bay Team think the TDM can do it without Mega Bro there. With Demonic Exodus mid lane, Mega Bro mid lane, bot lane, Scurrility, Bay Team just have no idea, but the Baron is melting. Hawkeye and Triblade doing it. It's at 4,500, 4,000, 3,500. This thing is melting. It's dead. Baron is going to get picked up by TDM. This is a really, really big sneak for TDM. And Bay Team, they aren't able to punish, right? They don't have pressure mid lane or bot lane. They don't have the numbers. They don't have the power to force a fight. They don't have the knowledge. They didn't know TDM was on that Baron.
Yeah, they definitely didn't know. If they did, they gave it away. Didn't seem to act like they knew about it, but yeah, they definitely didn't have vision over the Baron, so they give up that objective, which is real bad, Baymax. I mean, these waves are going to push themselves practically from here on out, but Bay Team might be trying to set up a little bit of a pick scenario here. Might be able to get something, but they're going to have to work quickly, because it looks like TDM
Triblade and Mega Bro are all by themselves. Pop Blossom onto Mega Bro. Not as tanky as his Void Monster brethren. Mega Bro is going to now teleport to the blob to try to save it. Coming in. And Tree Rover also maybe picking a fight he can't win, or can he? Forcing the heal from Hawkeye. This is the main carry from TDM. Dead on the backline. Shut down by Tree Rover. Is this a fight Bay Team can win? Demonic Xmas says, no, it's not, as he picks up Tree Rover into 1v1. Sterility taking Blizzard to the death realm. Is this a fight he wins? He does have the shield available. Indestructible buying him some time as he picks up that kill onto Blizzard. It was close, but Bay Team, they are losing the fight. Flash forward from Demonic Xmas, trying to push for more. Doesn't quite have the pillar available. Hanakun is going to be able to skirt out of that one, barely keeping her life alive, but at what cost? A 2-for-1. Hawkeye did die, giving precious shutdown gold over to Tree Rover, but Bay Team lose their inhibitor.
Yeah, they certainly do, and I had questioned at the start of the game whether or not Hawkeye would be able to carry this game. Looks like he doesn't need to. The big boys do enough damage to get through the game. At least they do now. They're far enough ahead to be able to do it, but a lot of damage coming through from Triblade and coming through from Scurrility as well. And yeah, that teleport onto Mecha Bros Blob was pretty funny. Able to save the Zac there, and now it's Triblade that might be in trouble. from downtown, the
I
Crystal
think he's
Arrow.
too tanky.
Yeah,
I don't think he can die.
maybe if the Crystal Arrow landed.
GLP
but,
slow, they're gonna try. Hanakun with the Tangle Barbs and the GLP slow. Pop Blossom. Look at the damage from Cho'Gath. Hanakun almost dead. Does barely get out alive. Meanwhile, the Blizzard, Blade of the Rune King, and the Triforce finally completed for Treeover. Means that Bait Team, they do have the damage. I was wrong. Tri-Blade ends up falling. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And now Bait Team might have priority over this dragon as it spawns. But look at the flank from Scurrility. And Hanakun, no teleport, still nowhere nearby. Mega Bro taking the front of this fight is going to get picked up by Mega Bro. But look at Scurrility on the flank. Demonic X was so tanky. Here comes the Chains of Corruption. Hawkeye untouched on the backline, pumping out so much damage. Picking up Treeover, looking for more Blizzard. The next one to fall here as Scurrility finds Inti on the backline. No hope for Bait Team. The collapse was too strong. Scurrility and Hawkeye are too strong. TDM is too strong. Third dragon of the game going over to TDM. Yet another team fight going over to TDM, as now TDM is one dragon away from picking up their very own Ocean Soul for the second time this series.
Yeah, and the door is closing on Bait Team, both in this series, this game, and their finals chances. It's not over yet, Baymax. It isn't over till the Nexus explodes, but that window definitely closing for them. Hawkeye is very, very strong right now, as is the majority of the rest of TDM. It's going to be very difficult for Bait Team to get back into this game. They've hit a couple spikes recently. I believe Treeover just completed that Triforce, so they're going to be on a little bit of a power spike there. Maybe that can help them in the next fight, but it's going to take a miracle at this point for me, Baymax.
You know, it's rough. I do think that Bait Team outscale, but the problem is getting there. When Hawkeye is 5-3, when Scurrility is so ridiculously strong, he's only 3-3, but second most or third most CS in the game, 184 CS, looking pretty big. Got the Leandries finished. We talked about the Leandries as being a key item in burning down some of these tanks. Almost got a Morel and Omicron as well, which is going to be crucial in shutting down One Finger Smash and making him basically irrelevant as a tank. One of Maokai's claims to fame, especially if he gets behind, is that he can still heal, right? He still heals so much with the Sap magic passive that lets him get that healing coming in from his ability usages. But that healing is going to be cut so very low if Morel and Omicron is picked up, if Executioners gets picked up. Right now, not a lot of Grievous Wounds on TDM, but as soon as those Grievous Wounds start coming through, Bait Team don't have a lot of a hope for a frontline. And not only do they not have a hope for a frontline when those Grievous Wounds start coming through, they need a frontline right now too, with top lane inhibitor broken open, and Blizzard is being forced to answer the top lane inhibitor right now. TDM are threatening the mid lane inhibitor. Blizzard is not here. The main carry for Bait Team is not here. So TDM going to be able to force down some of these objectives basically for free. Baron not up for a little while. So TDM looking to push open this second inhibitor if they can, but they're going to have a hard time with no Baron being available, no Baron buff on their minions. But I think TDM are definitely in a really scary spot right there. Or TDM in a scary strong spot. Let me clarify that, because Baron is almost spawning. They have a ridiculous gold lead. They are threatening Dragon Soul. They have basically total pressure. The late game win conditions for Bait Team, which are Treeover and Blizzard, they have gotten some kills. They picked up some gold in the last couple of fights, but they are still way behind where they need to be to start carrying this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have some doubts about the build on Treeover as well. I'm not 100% on the Blood Razor there. They do have the Trinity Force. I'm almost wondering if it was worth it. Obviously, Triforce has a lot of stats on the item, but we're here at 30 minutes, and he has one item. So kind of
Blood Razor counts as an item. That's two items.
Not in my book. Not compared to Cinder Hulk and Warrior. It is an item, you're right, but
yeah, it's been a long time since I've actually seen anybody build Blood Razor.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, even Demonic Xmas, who is doing well, but probably not the most. Oh, here we go. This could be a fight here.
Yeah, hook onto Scurrility, Tangle Barbs, and the Pop Blossom onto Mega Bro, and more crucially onto Hawkeye. Shutdown kill onto Hanakun. The main carry for TDM is dead. Mega Bro getting kited by Blizzard, who is still alive, still safe. Can he stay that way? Look at the tankiness from Tri-Blade. Blizzard picking up 1 kill. Demonic Xmas looking for more, but this is so far a 3-for-1. Tree over the only casualty, 4-for-1. Another shutdown kill picked up onto Blizzard. Tri-Blade is gonna flash for a shutdown kill of his own onto Hanakun, but who cares? Bay team, they win the fight 5-for-2. Not only do they win the fight, they're gonna get this Baron. They got so many kills on the Blizzard. They're gonna get Baron. They're gonna maybe get Dragon as well. Suddenly, Bay team, their odds of winning this game just got so much better.
Yeah, this could be the comeback here, Baymax, especially if they're able to pick up this next Dragon. As it stands, I'm not sure they're going to be able to do that, but they probably have a very good case for this Baron here. So a win nonetheless, right? And at this point, anything really is a win for Bay Team. They're very, very behind at like 5K deficit, something like that. But yeah, they do win the fight. They are able to protect Blizzard just long enough and get the pick onto Hawkeye. Kind of really at this point just completely eliminating TDM's damage, right? Hawkeye's pretty much it. Now we saw Tri-Blade doing a little bit of damage there with Feast.
It actually took Axeman. I don't know if this is gonna be worth it. I'm sorry to cut you off, but Bay Team, look, it took them so long to take that Baron, and they, like you said, they are losing Dragon Soul for that. I don't even know if it's worth it at that point. Look, they won the fight, they got the Baron, but Ocean Soul is a big deal.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy it took them that long to take the Baron, to be honest, right? I mean, they had Blizzard there with like 3 items, something like that. I would have thought the Ashe would have been able to take it a little bit faster, but this is the second Baron of the game, so I'm not sure if it has more health or something, but yeah, that was a very slow Baron. It seemed that way from the start, so they do give up that Ocean Soul. And, you know, you're right. I think the Ocean Soul probably a little bit more valuable than Baron. But if you kind of take a look at the situation that Bay Team is in, where they just kind of want to be able to clear these waves, get the waves away from what remains of their base, I think it might be okay. Obviously, it's not going to help them as much in a fight, but if it means that they're able to push the lanes out a little bit easier, I think it's going to be pretty good for them.
I definitely agree. We already saw how difficult it can be for TDM to actually siege the Bay Team. There aren't great diving tools from TDM. There aren't great siege tools. Not a lot of long range poke. Hawkeye is playing Varus, but it's not lethality Varus. It's on hit Varus. So, you know, that siege threat from TDM is not quite there. I feel like they really are sort of reliant on Baron to win the game. But so that's sort of to your point. But also, you know, I do think that TDM are totally fine with sort of taking Dragon Soul and just waiting 5 more minutes for the next Baron, because the Dragon Soul buff is never going to go away, but they can pick up that Baron next time around, and in 3.5 more minutes, then they can now look to break open Bay Team's base. And also, Bay Team's top lane inhibitor is open. There's no turret
there. We go.
As Demonic Xmas face checks into a hook from Inti, Blizzard is now on a rampage. That's one of the main front lines for TDM now dead. Suddenly, Bay Team, they look like they're put in a great spot to hold on to their base. But still, though, you know, can those picks keep coming through is sort of the question in my mind, because I think if TDM keep their battle lines, they have Tri-Blade in front, Scurrility on a flank or in a side lane, and Hawkeye in the back, staying alive, staying safe. I still think that TDM are in a strong spot here.
For sure. I hope Tri-Blade caught out a little bit, but really, who's catching who? The massive choke.
He's really tanky. That Stone Plate, true damage onto Tree Over, but Tri-Blade is eventually going to go down. The one shot
another
is not
pick.
There. That is another pick. This actually could be a push that Bay Team need to end the game. They have Baron buff, right? They can push a lot off of these picks. Hawkeye is still untouched in the side lane, pushing out that bot lane wave, while Bay Team are looking mid lane, looking top lane. They have Hanakun on the split on the top side of the map. Now another hook onto Demonic Xmas. A flash forward is going to mean that Blizzard is going to be taken to the Death Realm. Scratch that, not Blizzard, Tree Rover, but Blizzard is probably going to go down anyway. Flash onto the backline from Mega Bro. Blizzard actually staying alive. A double kill for Scurrility. Now Pop Blossom to peel for Blizzard. A double kill for Ashe. Blizzard is on a rampage, trying to keep doing what he can do here, as Scurrility is going to end up going down, but Hawkeye trading that kill back for Hanakun. A 3 for 3, but really a 2 for 3 because Tri-Blade died so long ago. Bay team, they see dollar signs, right? They get the picks, they think they can push, but they do get punished for it.
Yeah, they got punished a little bit, but they did also take a lot as well, right? I mean, they got 2 turrets. I think they might. Did they pick up the inhib turret there at the end? They did not, but so they pick up 2 turrets. Go kind of a weird 3 for 2 type situation. I think they still win off that one. I think that's probably a net positive, especially considering they're down so far in gold. And down to the Dragon Soul, I think that went a lot better than they had any right for it to go. So I'd probably still be pretty happy if I was on Bay team, but we will see if they're able to pull this one out of the hat. Now, theoretically, Baymax, if they keep making picks and keep drawing this game out, we've been saying so far they do have a little bit more scaling than TDM. So, actually pulling Mega Bro.
Another hook onto Hawkeye. The picks keep coming through. Inti is a legend. Mega Bro, the passive is gonna get popped. Triblade is here to support. So looks like for now, Mega Bro is gonna be safe. But these picks, they keep coming through.
Yeah, and it was another big one that would have resulted in another champion's death, but that Zach passive did save them in the end there. But yeah, more picks. The picks continue, and as I was saying before that pick there, if they keep getting picks and keep drawing this game out, eventually they'll just outscale TDM, right? Now later into the game, it's not. Once you get to level 18, it's not so much a question of scaling. There's just kind of execution based type deal. There's so much damage flying around that it'll be interesting to see if that actually gets them a real advantage. But as it looks right now, they seem to be getting more power as the game goes on. So I really think if you're TDM, you need to start trying to find a way to end the game as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, right? It's which AD carry can stay alive longest at this point. Blizzard and Hawkeye both doing a ton of damage if they can stay alive, but there's a lot of pick and a lot of dive from both teams. And right now, Blizzard and Hawkeye both got their flash, and they both have, an ultimate that's a very strong defensive tool to peel for them. So I think it really is, a lot of these fights are going to come down to whose AD carry can live the longest. Although for Bay team, they have that sort of secondary win condition of Tree Rover. Right? Tree Rover is really, really starting to scale on this Jax. He's got the Titanic Hydra coming through, a QSS to get him out of Skrille's ultimate so he can get out of that 1v1 and find some targets that he actually wants to 1v1. Right? And now Dragon spawning for Bay team. This is Elder Dragon. And Bay team have the inside track on it. They have the vision control. They have control over the area. They're forcing Triblade to face check. And he's a tanky Cho'Gath, but is he tanky enough, right? Blizzard is doing a ton of damage. Tangle Barb's gonna make Triblade lose about half his HP. Rupture onto Blizzard though. Hawkeye, Mega Bro sees his chance, but the flash into the backline is not enough. Pop Blossom forward from Hanakun as Tree Rover in the backline tries to take down Triblade's gonna die. This is a wipe. I can't tell who's winning. One finger smash taking him death. I'm gonna die. Hanakun Blizzard still alive, but not for long. Demonic Xmas Hawkeye doing so much damage. A double kill. That's it. TDM win. Hawkeye picking up a double kill. There's 3 for 3 alive on TDM, none for Bay team. Teleport for Triblade. There's minions pouring into Bay team's base. Axeman, this is it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this has to be it. I think there's no way Bay team are going to be able to respawn before TDM is able to take down this Nexus. So I really do think this is the end of the game, which means this is the end of the series, Baymax. And there's nothing left to do but to watch it happen. And yeah, in that last fight, it was unfortunate. Tree Rover was trying to solo that Elder Dragon, but eventually Mega Bro was just able to pull the trigger on the fight and start that. You may have seen at the start of the fight, Blizzard kind of whiffing the Crystal Arrow. I think a lot of that played into why they lost that fight. It's a very important tool to be able to use to get that CC off of the enemy team. And I think that really could have made all the difference. But
Mega Bro was making Blizzard kite backwards, and Tree Rover was going forwards. Tree Rover was just in, and he got focused on almost immediately. We talked about sort of the carries from these teams needing to stay alive. Tree Rover was one of the late game carries for a Bay team, so him going down early is never a good sign. That was a convincing win from TDM, though. I thought they played that really, really well.
yeah, for sure. Obviously, you started seeing some cracks in the armor there towards the end with lots of picks. Most of that's just kind of like a discipline issue a little bit. It's hard to kind of think of yourself as, oh, I'm in danger, I need to play this correctly when you have like 6,000 health or whatever Triblade had. But you do have to realize, you can't be face checking bushes, stuff like that. You have to make sure you're paying your respects to the enemy team, especially with the blitzcrank. But yeah, in the end, it didn't really matter. TDM was able to pull out the win there, but just kind of a looking forward to the future, some foreshadowing of maybe a weakness TDM has that could be exploited by another team.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna. Do we want to do an interview? I'm not gonna lie. I gotta go to the bathroom really, really bad.
Gotcha.
So I don't think we're gonna do the interview. I'm so sorry to those who want to interview. Unless Axman, you want to do it. If you want to sort of get the interview out of the way.
Yeah,
here.
I could definitely do an interview. Let me pull up some.
All right, I'll be right back then. I'll just run and I'll be back, and maybe I can catch the end of this. But I'll be right back.
If we can get Hawkeye in here, I know. I think I'd probably be interested in asking him a few questions there, but we'll have to see if we're able to do that. We'll hopefully get that interview going here in just a little bit. I know it's getting set up just now, but see if we can get this one underway here for you shortly. And I think we do have Hawkeye here now.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Hawkeye! Congratulations on the win, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we just had a couple of questions for you, and we're gonna get that going on right now. So, Hawkeye, have you played a lot with Mega Bro, this kind of Varus Zac lane? I know you played at both games. Is that something y'all do a lot?
I've been playing with Mega Bro for like 4 years right now. So it's a long time duo we are doing.
Gotcha.
And Varus is at this moment one of my main.
Okay.
And Varus Zac, we didn't do it quite often, but it's a new thing we try with the Zac support, and it seems to work pretty well for now.
Gotcha. All right. So, do you have any insight on what made Triblade drop the Mordekaiser and give it over to Scurrility? What was playing into that decision?
Okay, so in the draft, we kind of missed something maybe, and Triblade is not that good against Jax player.
Gotcha.
So when they picked Jax, we got scared of Jax up, but we didn't think of the Maokai already picked. So Triblade decided to pick Cho'Gath into Jax because that's the best thing he can do in this matchup. And after that, they picked Blitzcrank. So we're kind of like, what do we do here? And we try to swap role and proceed to find something working on with this team comp, and ends up pretty well, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, you took the series, but it definitely ended up with a strange team comp. You had all these tanks, all these big boys, and then just you on Varus, just kind of like, yeah, I'm the damage.
I was like full protect in this team comp.
Yeah,
that's
for
what
sure.
I like.
And it was, I think, probably the funniest part is that you had the Trundle in the jungle, who is, obviously often used as like a counter to tanks, and then just a bunch of tanks with them. So it's like
against Maokai, it was pretty strong.
Yeah, definitely. I think you completely shut the Maokai out of the game there, but
with the Bork and Rage Blade, I was just melting him. So
for sure,
with Varus and the Trundle, it's a nice duo too. It's strong in the late game and team fight.
Yeah, and be able to shred down those tanks. I believe in both games you went on hit Varus. Is there ever a situation where you would go lethality Varus? Or you think you're pretty much
never? I will never do a lethality Varus. I hate this.
You'll never do lethality Varus?
Never.
Why not?
Except in ARAM, but in the real game, never. I hate this.
What? You hate it? It's so good though. It's so good though.
I know it's the meta right now, but I feel like lethality Varus is like old school Varus. I always played it like this, and back in the day I used to play it AP, like with Nature Tooth and even Rabadon late game, and I one shot pretty much everything on the other team. Like in season 8 and 7, I did this.
Gotcha.
But right now I feel like on-hit Varus is still a thing for me.
All right, cool. Well, I appreciate that one. I know there's a lot of Varus players that kind of go back and forth, but We were wondering if maybe you were avoiding lethality for some reason, and now we know. So, Baymax, do you have any questions for Hawkeye?
Nothing off the top of my head other than the lethality that you pointed out. Although I do think that on hit was probably better, especially better in the second game, and probably better in the first game as well. But I just like lethality. Like, I think how do you not like lethality, Varus? It's so much fun. Oh my god.
It miss attack speed for me. I like to kite, and with 1.00 attack speed, I feel like I'm not even moving. I need like the 3.5 attack speed to move and do something in the game.
Gotcha. I saw you took lethal tempo there, so
Yeah.
man likes his attack speed. All right. Well, Baymax, if you didn't have anything else, I think we're gonna call the interview there, and I'll kick it back to you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us, Hawkeye.
Thank you.
Congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
wins.
And I guess we have another interview here. Who is this
What?
joining us?
Another one. Security. We gotta get this guy out of here.
Scurrility. All right.
Scurrility. I thought you said security. Like, get this guy out of here. Like, what's he doing? We don't get more than one interview. That's cheating.
He's
It's not
bouncing
allowed.
the plays. All right, Scurrility, we got a couple of questions for you. So it seemed like in the game 2 that you kind of drafted this comp that was built around another Yasuo comp, all the knockups, displacements you could ask for. And then just kind of forgot to pick Yasuo. Was that something that actually happened? What went on there?
Well, like Hawkeye said, we kind of forgot about the Maokai and thought there was gonna be Jack's top, so I ended up being forced out of the Mordekai's that I don't know how to play. So it went pretty okay for that.
Gotcha, for sure. So is this Mordekaiser build? You mentioned you don't play Mordekaiser a lot. Is this just something you found online, or
No, I got it from Triblade. He just told me, he's like, yeah, build Proto first.
build this? Okay, yeah, gotcha. Triblade told you to build Proto first.
He told me all the runes and everything.
Gotcha.
Triblade's Chad on Mordekaiser.
Yeah, for sure. Triblade's build a death cap immediately.
Exactly.
Well, it did work out.
Death cap, Spellbinder.
Yeah,
Run at them.
For sure.
Sounds good.
Boots of
Sounds
speed.
good.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
speed,
absolutely.
Proto Belt.
Well, you did fairly well there. About the Yasuo game, was that comp? Like I was saying, it seemed kind of designed to be around you and just kind of getting you a displacement to ult on top of. Are there like a lot of comps that your team uses that are kind of built around you as the main carry?
Yes, but not always on Yasuo. We weren't really planning on the Yasuo at the end of the draft because I was last pick. I ended up being, I wanted to play something else, and then they were like, we could just go Yasuo here. It's perfect for our comp. So we ended up just pulling out.
Gotcha. Okay. So you just kind of got to the end of the draft. We're like, hey, Yasuo would be nice here, and just pick that. Okay, makes sense. How do you feel the Zac pick was working for you? There's a lot of the strength in the Zac pick is that it can roam up to mid lane. Do you feel like it was helping you out at all?
Oh, of course.
Wait, hold on a second. I'm sorry. You guys picked. Wait, so does that mean you picked the Zac support without planning on picking Yasuo?
No, yeah, no. The Zac support is that's just something that was already planned. That was planned in going into the draft, which is just Zac support.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think it's that strong? I was thinking like, all right, this is 200 IQ. They picked the Zac support. They forfeit a lot of bot lane pressure, but it does mean they got mad synergy with Yasuo. Oh, also, why not Gragas? I thought you guys were gonna pick Gragas. I feel like Gragas maybe could have worked better in the jungle than.
It's because like even before our games, our jungler was like, I want to play Rek'Sai today.
Okay.
So it just ended up being like that.
It does sound like demonic Expos to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, trying to think. You got any questions, Baymax? Oh, what were you gonna pick? You said they kind of forced Yasuo on you. What were you planning on picking?
Who was I planning on picking? I think I was debating between Zoe and TS.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you didn't get anything.
Ooh, I don't think
you
you guys would have had enough damage with TF. I think Zoe could have been good.
I honestly just wanted to try out the TF buffs that they gave him.
I think Zoe is so good right now.
Oh, Zoe's very good right now. 100%.
For sure. But yeah, you got any questions for him, Baymax?
Nah, man. I think congratulations on your win. That was super. That was pretty convincing. You know, Bay Team, they're not a weak opponent, so to have you guys 2-0, you probably feels pretty good.
Yeah. Now we got to prepare to stomp TDMA.
Ooh, okay, okay. You know, they are the only team you've lost to so far.
Hey, I wasn't on the team then though.
Ah, okay, okay.
Just saying, if Scrim say anything, be prepared.
Okay, all right.
All right.
So, wait, hold on. Do we have any interesting, exciting team comps that we should be sort of
Oh, be prepared.
anticipating?
We have some pretty interesting ones to go against TDMA.
Okay.
All right. And you know you have to face the winner of Coin Flippers Boys in the Hood first, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. And I did want to ask you, between those two teams, who do you think you're more afraid of? Who are you not looking forward to playing?
I mean, I haven't looked too much into the teams. I haven't played too many games on this team yet. So, but I think they're both pretty strong teams. It's really execution for them, and I think we got to really practice for either team to go against.
All right. Well, with that, I think we'll call the interview there, and I'll kick it back to you, Baymax, to close this out. Thanks for coming on for the interview, Scurrility.
Yeah, thanks to Scurrility, thanks to Hawkeye as well, and congratulations to all of the TDM squad for sort of vanquishing their opponents here and moving on in the playoffs. The Ionia division holding strong right here. TDM looking very, very good. Cannot wait for the next couple of games. Congratulations to Bay Team as well. You know, they may have lost here, but they're a strong team. They made it pretty far. No shame in making it to playoffs. So, you know, super impressed with their whole squad. Specifically, I thought that Blizzard and Hanakun had pretty good games today overall. So, you know, I want to give us sort of a slight shout out to them. Blizzard, Hanakun, Inti, I thought did very, very well for each other. Also, yeah, side tangent, Inti, some of those hooks were insane. His thresh was pretty clean. His blitzcrank was pretty clean. Like all the picks that were coming through that were keeping Bay Team in the game, like 90% of them were on Inti and like 10% were Hanakun. Like Hanakun had some of the picks. Inti had like everything else. Inti was just like hook, 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 hook. Inti is a big part of why that game was very competitive, and it was a competitive game, right? It came down to very close team fights. So a lot of credit to Bay Team. I think they had a pretty good series overall, especially that second game was pretty impressive. So I think I might be done rambling now. We've been talking for a while. We had those interviews. It was great. We had the games. It was great. 2-0 for TDM. I think it's about time that we sign off, Axeman. So unless you got anything else to add, I want to thank the players for coming out and playing and watching and all that stuff. You guys are great. I want to thank the coaches and the spectators, the family, the friends, everybody who's watching. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your support. It's great. And I know we had some sort of technical difficulties this stream, so thanks for sticking with us. It happens, you know, we do the best we can, but thanks for sticking with us. We really appreciate your support. We love it. So I have been Baymax, been casting with Axeman 87. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us here tonight. Have a fantastic evening, folks.